The best coverage of the top stories in sports. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
It sure does on this Thursday, and great to have you all with us for the next 60 minutes. NBA trade deadline day. It has come and gone by the time you see this show. So we do our best to kind of tell you everything that's happened, and we'll break that down. But keep in mind, there might be some things we don't talk about in the show because we tape it before NBA trade deadline day. That's just the way it goes. So good luck with that. We'll obviously have a more robust recap on Friday on SportsWrap, and we'll just have to see, where things fall. But I think the big question as we start the show and say good morning and good afternoon and good evening to Vladimir Lewisant, who joins us from WQAM in Miami, literally today from WQAM in Miami. Thanks to them for loaning him to us from the studios there. I think the question left to be asked is there anything left? Are there any big moves left to be made? And my suspicion is no, but then again, the way this trade market has been, you just never know. But let's start with the obvious, Vlad, and that is Jimmy Butler on the move to the Golden State Warriors. And we had our friend Kurt Heelan of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com on the show yesterday. And I remember doing a conversation like 2 weeks ago with you and Kurt, and we all were under the impression that Stephen Curry basically came out and said, don't do anything crazy at the deadline. We all assumed that to mean don't go and trade for Jimmy Butler. And what do the Warriors go and do? They trade for Jimmy Butler.
The Luka Doncic Anthony Davis trade sent a ripple down the NBA.
It broke the league. It broke the league.
It really did. And people had to circle back. They had to circle back and come back around and say, hey, maybe that deal that we offered you before, let's talk about that 2-year extension. Jimmy won, Jason. Jimmy won. Jimmy did all the things that he needed to do to get out of Miami, and there was one team we knew that was willing to give him the 2-year extension, and it was Phoenix at the time, and they tried every way possible to get him to Phoenix, or he tried every way possible to get to Phoenix, and it didn't work because Bradley Beal was saying no. Bradley Beal made sure that no trade clause that he got in his contract was going to be enforced.
He C-blocked him. He C-blocked him. Let's just say it.
He trade blocked him. He trade blocked him.
I mean, essentially, that's what happened there. I mean,
he basically C-blocked him.
Yeah, he basically C-blocked him.
And good for him. But also, in what we come to find out now, even if they got Jimmy, here's my problem. If Phoenix wanted to get Jimmy, was it to get Jimmy to pair him with Devin and KD?
We don't know. I know.
See? Because then that's why I don't understand. Or were you getting Jimmy to replace KD? I don't know what basketball fan or basketball GM is going to pick Jimmy Butler over Kevin Durant.
I don't know.
So then, therefore, how does Golden State get involved in this? Golden State trying to circle back around the block. Everybody's circling around the block.
Yeah, I trust me, I get it. And just so people understand, the rest of the deal, the Warriors are sending Andrew Wiggins and Kyle Anderson plus a top 10 protected 2025 pick to the Heat. Dennis Schroeder is acquired by the Warriors in December. He goes to the Jazz as part of this deal. Utah will send PJ Tucker, who played with the Heat in the 21-22 season, back to Miami.
He hasn't played in a year. He was with the Clippers.
Yeah. Guard Lindy Waters will go from Golden State to the Pistons. Josh Richardson? Really?
Yes,
wow.
Josh Richardson.
Josh Richardson will go from Miami to Detroit. So that is what we've seen here in the last several hours. Real quick.
And in all honesty, real quickly, and I don't think the Heat really did well in the deal. It's almost like you got 60 cents to the dollar.
Yeah, well, and they probably got about as good as they could, though, right? I mean, it was either that or hang on to them. It wasn't like, how much harder of a bargain were you going to drive? You're right up against the deadline. We'll talk about that some more, but first, a word from our friends over at Edge Boost. I am pumped to tell you about our friends at Edge Boost. The Super Bowl is right around the corner. What are you waiting for? Get your hands on the Edge Boost Visa debit card today and start your gambling journey, your sports betting journey with our friends at Edge Boost. What is Edge Boost? They're the financial platform paying you cash back to wager. Edge Boost is an online bank account paying you for every deposit. And with that Edge Boost Visa debit card, you're getting up to 0.5% cash back on all your sportsbook, daily fantasy site, and casino transactions. Free money back in your pocket just for doing what you're going to be doing on Super Bowl Sunday already. It's a no-brainer. It takes just a couple of minutes to sign up. Plus, your Edge Boost debit card starts with a $250,000 daily limit. There is no card like it anywhere in the world, and it'll never be declined for gambling activity because it's for gambling activity. They've got built-in tools to help you stay responsible, and there's absolutely no hidden fees or minimum required balances. So stop leaving money on the table. Visit edgeboost.bet to learn more. Scan the QR code right there, and when you do that, use my promo code WRAP when you sign up for your account, WRAP. Use my promo code WRAP and get a free upgrade to your account with our friends at Edge Boost. I still can't figure out how this turns the Warriors suddenly into a title contender. I have been saying this for 2 years. This organization has been loathsome to rip the Band-Aid off. It's time to say this iteration of the Warriors is done. It happened with Klay Thompson. They waited too long. It happened with Draymond Green. They've waited too long. The organization is in denial about the fact that they are no longer contenders. Let Steph Curry go finish his career in Charlotte with the Hornets, where his daddy was a star. It's done. It's over, Vlad. It's time for the Warriors to pack it up.
You don't have to send him to Charlotte. That's wrong.
Why not?
No, why?
He wants to finish because he wants to finish it. There's always been the talk that he wants to finish his career there because it's where Dad played.
And there's always talk. No, he doesn't want to go to Siberia. Nobody wants to go to Siberia. You're not leaving San Francisco for Siberia. Just stop.
For the last couple of years of his career.
No disrespect. Trust me, Mark Williams is happy as hell going to LA.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Dalton Connect and the rest of the guys, not so happy. But nonetheless, you're right. Just say, I truly think after their early knockout or play-in elimination that's going to happen to them, they have to have a serious conversation with Stephen Curry to see what he needs to do with the rest of his career. And Stephen has to look at it to see, can he go to another team and that has a title shot.
The come-to-Jesus moment has to happen here with the Warriors. I know they've got brand new arena and expensive seats to fill, but they're just dragging out the process. More NBA next. Welcome back to this Thursday edition of Sports Wrap. We were slated to talk more NBA here with our friend Ethan J. Skolnick from the 5 Reasons Sports podcast. We're going to push that back to next week. He had a car issue, so he wasn't able to join us on the show. Let's talk some NFL. If you missed it earlier in the week, we talked with Nick Ferguson, former NFL safety with KOA Radio in Denver. Got his thoughts on a whole bunch of football topics, Vlad and myself talking to him on the show. We obviously got into it on the Super Bowl, and I asked him a simple question as to whether or not it's a good thing if the Chiefs win a 3rd straight Super Bowl.
No, it's not, especially not for me because my Patrick Mahomes jersey goes up in value. So I have a vested interest in the Chiefs winning. So no, it's not. It's not a bad thing. It will be historic because something like this has never happened in the NFL in all this history. And for this to be the month of February and this to be Black History Month, I mean, that would go well with all of that. So yeah, if you're Roger Goodell, you're sitting back like, yes, come on, Chiefs, come on. So no, it's not a bad thing.
All right.
Yeah, don't you want one team to hate instead of like you have one, like everybody, you have 31 teams gunning for this one team.
I have a hunch. I have a hunch. I have a hunch, guys, and we'll find out if I'm right on Monday or Tuesday, whenever it gets announced. I think the ratings are going to be down on this Super Bowl. I think when it happens, you're going to feel a collective panic out of the NFL offices on Park Avenue in New York. I have a feeling the numbers for this Super Bowl are going to be down. And I mean
But
down noticeably.
I don't think it's because of the Chiefs, though.
I don't
Because
know.
here's
I
the
don't know
thing.
that it's because of the Chiefs. I'm just saying the collective of the officiating, the two teams meeting up. It's a rematch from 2 years ago. Chiefs fatigue, whatever you want to call it.
But you also have a,
I think
Paige,
it's
you
going to
also have
be
a
down.
chance. But Paige, you also have a chance to see history, and I think a chance of seeing history will have viewers, will have eyes on the screen. If you have a chance to see a three-peat, you want to see that, or you want to see. It's like the Floyd factor. You kind of want to see the Chiefs go down as well. So,
Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, JP, I think you're wrong on that because there is Chiefs fatigue, and people don't like how the Chiefs got there, and then obviously with these narrative. So there's a lot of football fans who are going to watch just because they want to see the Chiefs go down. And just so happens, if you are right, then that would mean that the league had an epic fail because there was something that they could have corrected that they did not correct. And the public would let them know that, hey, listen, we're not saying that is rigged, but something is wrong. You guys could have handled it. You didn't. So we may boycott you just to show you what we're thinking about. But I hope that's not the case.
All right, Vlad's got a question about Myles Garrett. Go ahead, Vlad.
Nick, Myles Garrett has let it be known that he wants to leave Cleveland. So it's either two things. It's a money grab or he really wants to leave. If he does want to leave, what team out there or would be the best fit for him? Because it's got to seem like at 29 years old, he's trying to get the ring that, like he said.
Yeah, he's got the money. He wants the ring to kind of really solidify his Hall of Fame career. There's one place that came right to mind was the Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders have improved drastically, and they have that player in Jaden Daniels. And I know Dan Quinn likes guys who can get after the quarterback. He had that with Michael Parsons when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. Also, Adam Peters and his experience with San Francisco 49ers was built on having great quarterback play, but being able to get after the quarterback. So if there was a place that I would love to see Myles Garrett go just to make everything fun, it would be the Washington Commanders. And oh, by the way, yes, he wants out of Cleveland. Have you seen Cleveland and their record over the past couple of years and how many quarterbacks have come through that organization? He realizes that where he wants to get to, he's not going to get there in Cleveland. He's just not. Let's be totally honest. He's going to make a boatload of money. People are going to love him. But we know how this works. When a player career is over, people are going to look back and say, well, what did you do in your career? You made a bunch of Pro Bowls and you've been all pro. But did you ever play in a divisional round, a championship round? Did you ever make it to a Super Bowl? And I think that's what Myles Garrett's thinking about right now.
Let me ask you something. So let's keep it in the AFC West and talk about this move by the Raiders to bring in Pete Carroll. Look at him. How much did that surprise you? As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to say. Just go.
It didn't surprise me because my co-host Benjamin Albright had been saying for a while that this was going to be the trend of what was going to happen. And there were so many people who were saying, well, no, that's not going to happen. Carroll is not going to go back. He's 73. What are the Raiders going to do with him? Tom wants to win, and Mark Davis is willing to do anything he can to make the Raiders relevant again. So you got Pete Carroll, who has done a great job of creating a culture. And I know because after they beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl in MetLife, I went right after that to figure out what the heck are the Seattle Seahawks doing to kind of build up that locker room culture. And I'm telling you, man, other than being a Denver Bronco, that is a culture I would want to be a part of. But then you bring in Chip freaking Kelly, right? So you know that offense is going to be going. And oh, by the way, JP.
Going with who, Nick? Going with who? They have nobody.
Shador.
Whoa. Okay. So JP, sit down for this one. So 2 years ago, when UCLA played the CU Buffs, there was one coach that came over to Shador right away.
Oh, God.
Stayed with him for a while. It was Chip Kelly. So we've been hearing all this talk about the Raiders and Shador this past offseason, and I wouldn't be shocked and surprised if that happened.
Can I add a little something to that? Who was Shador's mentor?
Chip
Tom
Kelly.
Brady. Well, Tom Brady.
No.
Tom Brady.
And Tom Brady.
Yes.
Who owns the Raiders?
Well, I mean,
He owns a little
But-
slice. I mean, come on.
a little slice, but you got to understand this is all a thing. Remember, one thing Prime said, he's not going to put Shador in a situation where Shador is going to fail. If Shador's been under Brady's tutelage, he's under a head coach like Pete Carroll, and you got Chip Kelly, that means he's going to be in an environment for him to succeed.
I'm sorry.
I see Shador with the 6th pick I see the Raiders grabbing Shador with the 6th pick.
I'm going to tell you something, man. It's the Raiders. Everything they touch turns to mush.
No,
So I'm telling you. I mean, Nick, you can sit there and laugh, but I mean, am I wrong? Is there not a history, a culture of losing, a culture of dysfunctionality that takes place there? I'm just saying.
You're absolutely right, but it's changed. Mark Davis realized he is not his dad, and he can't move like Al Davis moved. So that's why you got Tom. That's why you bring in Pete, and that's why you bring in Chip Kelly.
I gotta go. I gotta go real quick. Who wins the game? I got 5 seconds. Who wins?
I got Philly.
All right, he's got Philly. It's Nick Ferguson, former NFL safety. We'll see you all later. Sports Wrap continues, and thank you for being with us on this trade deadline Thursday. Again, keeping in mind, by the time you see this show, there could be more deals from what took place on Wednesday night. So if we're not mentioning something, it means it broke after our recording window for the show. It's one of the downsides to not doing a live show every day. Hopefully that'll change in the not so distant future. But there is still plenty to talk about from what transpired on Wednesday. And Vladimir Lewison's hanging out with us from WQAM in Miami this week with Sam on assignment at the Super Bowl. And we're both NBA guys, so this week really kind of worked out well for us because we both love the NBA. So it really could not have worked out any better for us to have all this crazy activity that we've had throughout the week.
That NFL.
Yep. Oh, torpedoed Super Bowl week. I'm telling you, I'm here for it. I'm so thrilled. I
love it.
I absolutely love it. It's going to be the lowest rated Super Bowl in a decade. You watch. I'm telling you, I don't think people are going to watch it in the numbers that we've seen in the past. And then I want to see people jumping out of windows at Park Avenue. When they see the numbers for this Super Bowl. Maybe I'll be wrong. If I am, I'll come and take the bullet on Monday. All right, so. Kevin Durant is, as of now, still a member of the Phoenix Suns. There had been talk on Wednesday afternoon of Kevin Durant possibly being moved to either the Heat or the Golden State Warriors. Well, it turned out, according to all accounts, he didn't want to go back to the Golden State Warriors. He's perfectly content staying on a craptastic team in Phoenix in the Suns, which it brings up 2 questions to me. One, is he just content with the rings he got in Golden State with the Warriors? Maybe, look, maybe he doesn't want to go ring chasing. Maybe he loves Phoenix. Maybe he loves the area. Maybe he loves living there. Maybe it's a place he wants to be, which I think is an underrated and sometimes not spoken about aspect enough of these things. We always talk about what people want, what they don't want. What we don't know is maybe he's just very happy being in Phoenix, whether they're winning or not. And you can be a little happier when you already got that ring security.
I talked earlier about spinning around the block, sometimes going back to that ex, like the Warriors did with Jimmy Butler. Mm-hmm. Well, this time Kevin Durant did not want to spin around the block and get back with his ex again with the Warriors. And that leaves something to say about him. Maybe he recognized he doesn't want his legacy to be a guy who's just been a superstar who's just moving around and around and around and around. You have to understand, Jason, that Brooklyn stop was not a good look for him in his career, especially after leaving the Warriors and going to 4 NBA Finals and winning 2. That's something.
Has the Phoenix stop? But look, has the Phoenix Big 3 stop worked out for him either? Nothing's really worked out.
It's only been a year and a half.
I get it, but the only thing that's worked for him was Golden State. I mean, it didn't work in Oklahoma City. It didn't work in Brooklyn. So far, it hasn't worked in Phoenix. And by the way, at this point, I feel like we kind of have a sense it ain't happening in Phoenix. I mean, when the team's thinking about getting rid of you, I don't think they believe it's going to happen in Phoenix.
I don't think I think Phoenix has probably realized they have to rethink everything about their current situation. I think over the summer they may get a better deal maybe during the summer than they would have during the trade deadline. But yeah, I think Durant, I might have taken a look at what this legacy would have looked like if he went back to Golden State and had to get back to the team that helped him win a championship. And second, and I think this is something. This is not. It's like the 800-pound elephant in the room. Doesn't want to get back with playing with Draymond Green. And we've noticed that, a couple of weeks ago, Jordan Poole made a comment, I'm still good with friends with a lot of people there. Well, some of them. And Draymond took offense to that and said, hey, man, I'm sorry. Well, guess what? Calling somebody a B word and challenging their manhood openly, publicly in a game. I mean, forget a game, in life, people are not going to be happy with that. But you do that publicly as an athlete to another athlete in a game, they're not going to come back around. They might be cool with you, but they might not want to play with you. And that's what I think happened with Kevin Durant.
He is. I'm telling you, one day, there's going to be a documentary done. He is an interesting character. He is a very interesting character. Of all the guys and superstars and mega stars that we've seen in sports, he is kind of a different character. He's a different kind of animal, so to speak. And I'm interested to see when his career is over, because there's still time left. The entire story hasn't been written yet.
But Paige, maybe some of these older stars that we look at, they are still great, but they're putting up numbers that they normally do, but the impact's not the same. And maybe Kevin Durant is not the number one guy anymore on a franchise. Maybe he could be number 1A or 2B, but that's what's going to happen. And you don't want to give up your future for something that might not be a given anymore.
No, and I also think part of it is, as good as he is, there's so much talent around the league now that some of these mega stars kind of get caught up in the wash because there is so much talent around the league. The Lakers made a move. They trade for Mark Williams of the Charlotte Hornets. Seen here, finding out that he just got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers and no longer has to play on the Charlotte Hornets. I'd look that happy too if I was him. Look, the Lakers needed rim protection. They needed a big. He averages basically 16 and 10 a game. He has a prior relationship with J.J. Redick because of the Duke connection there. It's his third year in the league. Going to a contender from Charlotte. I think they're going to get the best they can out of Mark Williams, and I think the Lakers have done about as well as they could, Vlad. I'm not crazy about giving up Dalton Connect. I do not like giving up on Dalton Connect. Everybody else in that deal is sort of transferable. But I didn't like giving up. I didn't like giving up Connect.
No, but you have to give something to get something.
Yeah.
So you got to give up something to get something, and maybe they feel like they could find a shooter. Remember, I always said Chris Middleton is going to get brought out. Maybe bringing a Chris Middleton to go with LeBron.
Middleton feels like a Warriors signing, though, to me.
How many more? Listen,
I'm just telling you, it feels like a Warriors signing to me.
And I want to explain to that. I wanted you to explain that. I see that, but there's certain there's certain teams that if you're gonna add more older people, it doesn't seem good. It just seems like they're
But it seems like something they would do. It doesn't seem good, and that's exactly why I could see the Warriors doing it.
I can see the Lakers signing it, and then people would be like, "Why?" But I'm like, it works out better in that situation. It'd be a better fit.
Well, we'll see. I know one thing. He's not staying in Washington with the Wizards. I don't see that happening. We're coming back.
Will be moves.
Don't go anywhere. All right, let's take it to segment 4 on this edition of Sports Wrap. Take a break from all the NBA trade deadline madness. Oh, there's a Super Bowl going on this week. I keep joking about it because it just feels like the dullest lead up to a Super Bowl that I could remember. But that is what it is. Jason Cole, Hall of Fame selector, Pro Football Hall of Fame selector, author, and contributor on this program, I am proud to say, who always has great insights on the NFL, joins us on the show. I know it's going to sound hyperbolic and prisoner to the moment, but it does feel like one of the most drab lead-ups to a Super Bowl I can remember in a while.
Yeah, there's not much else you can say about Kansas City at this point. I mean, it's exciting that they go into three-peat, but you know all the players, you know all the personalities. We did this with Philadelphia 2 years ago. Like, there's just not the same kind of feel of high drama between these two. And they're not two fan bases that are the most electric in the world. I mean, Philly used to be a little bit more interesting, and then they won a title, and they ate horse poop and did all that kind of fun stuff, if that's fun, I guess. And so we went through that, and we've seen them back now, and I think that it also feels like chalk this year. Like, everybody kind of said, oh, Kansas City on that side, Philadelphia on the other side. Isn't it pretty obvious? And I know that Detroit was in there and that Buffalo and Baltimore were interesting, but you always kind of thought, okay, these were the teams that were going to make it, or certainly the heavy favorites.
What will you be looking for in the opening minutes or opening quarter in this Eagles Chiefs matchup? To me, it boils down to two things. One, how can the Eagles pass rush get to Patrick Mahomes? Jalen Carter's been so dynamic in this postseason, really throughout the season. And also, do the Chiefs just take the mentality of, we're going to force Jalen Hurts to beat us, we're not going to let Saquon Barkley beat us, and sort of how that pans out? What are you looking for?
Well, I want to see if the Eagles can get this game into a tempo that they like, because one of the things that the Chiefs do a really good job of is controlling the tempo of the game and not having to throw a lot and not having to risk much and not having to go 5 and 6 straight passes and take a lot of deep shots and try to play catch up. And when I'm the Eagles, I'm trying to get on top of them as much as possible to force them to throw so that I can turn Jalen Carter loose and turn that pass rush loose and get some favorable matchups. If you allow this to be a one-score game or a kind of a slow plodding kind of a game, that plays right into the Chiefs' hands, I think, because the Chiefs have not had a great season. Like, if they win, they'll be only the second team in Super Bowl history that got outgained on a per-play basis. The only other team that's ever done that was New England in 2001. And that New England team wanted to play games close to the vest and play them slow, even though Tom Brady was the quarterback. That was really his first year starting, and they didn't know what they really had then. So what I see is a very different Chiefs team than we've seen in the previous 5 years that wants to play much more of a ball control game, because that offensive line is not very good.
No, I agree with you on that. Andy Reid announced earlier in the week that he's going to coach for at least one more year. Does that point to you the fact that obviously he knows what he has here in playing with 15 and Patrick Mahomes and what he could do? But does it also point to the idea, and you and I may have talked about this prior, the idea of him eventually surpassing Don Shula?
I don't really think that Andy Reid spends a lot of time thinking about that. I think the rest of us think about it a lot for him. I think that Andy Reid, and I communicate with him on a pretty regular basis, and I haven't asked him about this, but I think he just likes what he's doing. Like, he's passionate about it. He has fun. I mean, who has more fun than Andy Reid? Eat cheeseburgers and coach Patrick Mahomes. I mean, like, how good is that life, man? I mean, you win Super Bowls and you're already there, and yeah, you might pass Don Shula, but like, okay, isn't that kind of a foregone conclusion if you do your job well and you got Patrick Mahomes? I mean, like, go have another cheeseburger. This is fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Do you think it's a good thing if the Chiefs win a third straight Super Bowl? Is it a good thing for the NFL?
I don't think it really much matters to the NFL. There's going to be 110 million people in the United States watching it, and 1 billion worldwide going to watch it because it's Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, like, I think they're Teflon. They're completely and totally Teflon. Like, it does. That's why when the people who say, I had this one reader who's like, the NFL loves dynasties and this drives ratings for him. And I'm like, and that's why they've got the the refs are pulling all these calls for him. I'm like, the NFL doesn't care, number one. Number two, it would be idiotic to care. It would be idiotic to try and arrange it, because if you ever got caught, you destroy your product. So no, that's not what's going on. I think they're just like, hey, whatever comes, and they just, and it's like, send your money, we're fine. And that's what happens. Like they're just cashing checks right now, and doing a great job doing it.
I'm suspicious that the numbers for this game might be down a little bit from a viewership standpoint. And again, this is stuff only people like us in the media talk about. I get it. But I have a feeling the numbers for this game might be down a little bit.
Whatever, 2 or 3% maybe, because people are bored. It's not, it's not great, but like, this is an amazing accomplishment.
Oh, it is.
This is truly amazing.
I don't disagree. I got to go real quick. Who wins?
Chiefs.
I'm with you.
28, 20 or something like that. Right. I like this team. I like them a lot.
Jason Cole, always appreciate it. Thank you, my friend.
Be good.
Let's take it to segment 5 on SportsWrap. This Thursday edition of the show continues with something to consider. Vladimir Lewisant. What are we? What's that? I know. For your consideration, Pete Alonso. The wait is over. The interminable wait. What did Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, say? The negotiations with Pete Alonso were excruciating, something like that. And then Alonso's agent, who I think is Scott Boras, chimed in about that. Well, at long last, Pete Alonso's got his bag. 2 years, $54 million for Alonso to return to the New York Mets. What the hell took so long? I mean, really? I mean, what took so long? The guy has performed for the team. A lot of people have kind of pointed out his numbers are a lot better than I think some people give him credit for. And now you look at this Mets team as we get ready to head into the 2025 season, and boy, from a lineup standpoint, you got to be happy if you're a Mets fan.
You definitely do. It's one of those things that both parties knew they wanted to be with each other, and just couldn't come up with at the time, a decent deal. I don't know if Scott Boras is always going to get the top deal he can for his clients, and I don't think the Mets wanted to pay a certain amount of money for Pete, even though, like you said, if you look at his numbers are actually better than people would suggest a guy like him, and the deal that he signed would take.
So here is the Mets projected lineup for this season. Lindor will lead off. Juan Soto bats second. Mark Vientos bats third. Alonso in the cleanup spot. Brandon Nimmo batting fifth. Francisco Alvarez sixth. Jesse Winker or Starling Marte seventh. Jeff McNeil eighth. Tyrone Taylor, Jose Siri. God, I gotta be careful not to say things like Siri, because then my phone will start lighting up and be like, "What would you like to talk about?" Tyrone Taylor or Jose Siri will bat ninth. So I mean, the bottom of the lineup still has some questions.
Yeah, you only told me about 4 names that would kind of scare me.
Nimmo's not bad. Nimmo's not bad.
Lindor, Alonso, obviously Soto, and maybe Nimmo or Marte, if Marte has a decent, if Marte is healthy. But the rest of the lineup, meh. It's mid.
It's mid.
Yeah, it's mid.
Yeah.
It's mid.
It's mid.
It's mid.
All right.
And still pales in comparison to the Los Angeles Dodgers. You know what I mean?
Sure. Everything. I mean, look, everything pales in comparison to the Los Angeles Dodgers. You just got to hope an anvil falls on like 6 or 7 different Dodgers. You're going to have a shot.
But it's a good deal. But it's a good deal for both parties. He did not want to leave the Mets. The Mets fan base love him there. So for 2 years, when they're in contention, this is a good deal.
Yeah. I agree with that. I want to talk about the rest of free agency, because believe it or not, there is a rest of free agency. We'll do that in just a moment after a word from our friends over at Credit Associates. Did you see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander last night? Have you seen Shai? Yeah, did you see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander all season? 50 points, a 50 burger for Shai, who I think just had like 52 or 53 in a loss the other day. 50 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. And here's the crazy thing. 18 of 29 shooting, so 50 on only 29 shots. But here's the crazy thing. He had 1 turnover. You know how much he had the basketball in his hands? By the way, Phoenix, play a little defense. You got lit up, 140 to 109. So Oklahoma City has Shea, who is doing great things, obviously in the MVP conversation. He has done it all for them this season. Is your credit card debt right now? Well, is it doing a number on you the way Shea did a number on Phoenix? If it is, you got to talk to our friends over at Credit Associates. If credit card debt is blocking your financial freedom, you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, it's time to break through with Credit Associates, who can help you slam down your debt for up to half of what you owe. And that's the kind of move you want to see in your financial game. Don't wait another quarter. Call 1-800-747-5362 today. See how much you could save. With Credit Associates, when it's time to make a play, they got your back. To see if you qualify for debt relief, call 1-800-747-5362 or visit creditassociates.com. Better yet, just scan the QR code right there. It'll take you where you need to go. Do everything you need to do. All right, so there is a rest of free agency. Free agency is not done yet. And there's still some decent names out there on the free agent market. I mean, Ty France is out there, Mark Canha is out there, Justin Turner, the veteran, Anthony Rizzo is still looking for a home. Oh yeah, Clayton Kershaw is still a free agent. Clayton Kershaw is still a free agent right now. I'm kind of curious to see where he winds up.
Did Bregman get signed?
Bregman has not been signed yet. Jose Iglesias has not been signed yet.
That's
Alex Verdugo. Name. Alex Verdugo is still out there. Alex Verdugo was 13-61 last year. You know, had a 585 OPS over his final 95 regular season games. Lance Lynn, JD Martinez is still sitting out there.
A lot of these guys are going to get deals, but they're probably going to get deals in the middle of spring training or towards the end of spring training. See if some of the young guys that you think you know could take that next step start struggling during spring training, you add that veteran bat.
Brendan Rodgers, David Robertson, Yohan Moncada, Spencer Turnbull, Harrison Bader, Kenley Jansen.
Well, I think those are good names for teams who are contending that they know they can add a quality veteran bat or out, in the infield or outfield. Just anybody of quality at a cheap price because they know that the market might be bare for them.
Andrew Heaney, Nick Pivetta.
Yeah.
And, of course, Bregman.
Yeah. They're going to get signed, Jason. They're going to get signed, but they're going to get signed to
a lot of people like the Cubs
teams.
For Bregman. We'll see if it happens. Could wind up being a Cubby. We've got more to do. Odds and ends to wrap up this edition of Sports Wrap next. Just about time to put the wraps on this baby for a Thursday. Don't forget, on Friday's Sports Wrap, Robert J. Littal. Did I say Robert J. Littal? Robert Littal. I don't think there's a J in there. Pretty sure there isn't. Robert Littal will stop by, our friend from Black Sports Online, his weekly visit with us to talk about the top stories of the week. I'm sure we'll be able to pry a Super Bowl prediction out of him as well. And who knows? All sorts of other fun stuff. Maybe Scott Seidenberg, our friend from pregame.com, will drop by as well. Get some Super Bowl betting information from him, props, all that good stuff as well. If you have not done so yet, the Sports Wrap with Jason Page podcast is available. Subscribe. It's free. It's easy. If you can't watch us on TV, you got other things going on, you want to listen to us on the way to work, you can watch us on Spotify as well. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Odyssey, Amazon, you name it, we are on all of them. Go and check us out there. Without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for some odds and ends presented by our friends at Edge Boost. I'm all about finding ways to try and take my sports betting game to the next level. I want to help you do the same. And that's why I am pumped to tell you about our friends at Edge Boost, the financial platform paying you cash back to wager. Edge Boost is an online bank account, pays you for every deposit. With the Edge Boost Visa debit card, you're getting up to 0.5% cash back on all your sportsbook, daily fantasy site, and casino transactions. What is that? free money back in your pocket just for doing what you're doing already. It's a no-brainer. Plus, your Edge Boost debit card starts with an unprecedented $250,000 daily limit and will never be declined for gambling activity. They've got built-in tools to help you stay responsible, and there's absolutely no hidden fees or minimum required balances. Stop leaving money on the table, folks. Go to edgeboost.bet, use my promo code WRAP, W-R-A-P, and get yourself a free upgrade to your account. That's right, edgeboost.bet, promo code WRAP. Even better than just going to edgeboost.bet, just scan that QR code right there. You do that, it'll take you where you need to go. Use my promo code WRAP and get a nice upgrade to that Edge Boost account. All right, Vlad, odds and ends. We were just talking about baseball. Tommy Pham has landed with the Pittsburgh Pirates. You've got a fan base there that is so pissed off at ownership. They went to the fan festival and said, sell the team. So I don't know if Tommy Pham is exactly going to quell the anger when it comes to Pirates fans in Pittsburgh about the fact that this team continues to just put a mediocre product on the field. Now you've got Paul Skeens there. By the way, I have a Paul Skeens card that's going to be arriving in the next day or two. When I show you this thing, it's going to blow your mind. I got a Paul Skeens autographed card coming from a redemption I got. Just wanted to throw that out there.
I wish I had a Livy Dunn baseball card, but you know.
I'm sure there's one somewhere.
Yeah.
So Tommy Pham to the Pirates. Hopefully he doesn't get in any fights with anybody because that is a mean mofo.
SOB. Yeah, it's sad, the Pirates. They actually, you know what's funny that you mentioned that because the Miami Marlins have their fan fest this Saturday.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm this Friday, the 7th, and I can expect the...
Is it a fan fest if no fans go?
Yeah, that's one. And if they're the 25 fans that do go, they're probably going to tell the guys to sell the team. So that's funny. And guess who the Marlins open the season against?
Who?
Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates.
In Pittsburgh or in Miami?
No, in Florida, in Miami.
Oh, at least that'll be the biggest crowd all year. So.
No, that'll be the fifth. The fifth. The Yankees come into town this season, right. So that'll be the top three. Nice. Listen. The funny thing about it is, the Pirates are going to be a scrappy team that's going to be up until the middle of August, they're going to be in playoff contention or a team that nobody wants to face. A wild card
team, yeah.
Yeah, a wild card team. So
they got a great 1-2 at the top of the rotation, that's for sure.
That is absolutely true, but it's still the Pirates. You got to put money to make money.
I agree. Grant Udinsky. Who is he, you might be wondering? He's 29 years old. He's leaving the Vikings. He's going to go become their new offensive coordinator. He joins Liam Cohen's staff after serving as the assistant offensive coordinator and assistant quarterbacks coach for the Minnesota Vikings this past season, but he won't call plays for the Jaguars. Then Cohen said at his introductory news conference, he'll be calling the plays.
You want a guy that can't even say Duval County to be the one to be calling plays? And second of all, 29 years old and he's an offensive. That's it, man. That is it. We have looked at this. I made this joke a long time ago that I swear that the coaches in the NFL right now were like all Madden players. Like they all were like in a Madden league. Shanahan, Sean McVay, O'Connell, all of them. Now we have a 29-year-old offensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Giants. We are absolutely in a Madden age where the coordinators and head coaches are calling plays from Madden, from the video game.
By the way, one last thing. We've talked about how good the Oklahoma City Thunder are. They're about to get better.
Oh, Chet's coming back.
Chet Holmgren's coming back. This team's 40-9, and they're not getting. They're about to get back one of their best players. They're about to get back one of their best players.
Right, and they added Daniel Theis. I know Daniel Theis is not like a major name or anything like that, but he's a good guy off the bench. That if you need 5-6 minutes in case Chet or Hartenstein gets in foul trouble, he can give you the. You got to give Presti so much credit, man. Probably the best GM in the game.
They're still not winning a championship. It's going to wrap it up for us. We'll see you all back here tomorrow. Thanks to Jason Cole. Thanks to you for watching. That is Sports Wrap. We'll see you.